folks, this is GoRight with Peter Boykin. So, we had a lot of good episodes so far, and continuing on a little shorter episodes, as I see really good videos out there on YouTube or the internet. I'd like to kind of go a run through with these videos to get more awareness of what's going on. Recently, Gaetz has been really good at with these impeachment hearings, these fake news. He's been really good at going after what's really going on. And Gaetz explodes at an impeachment witness and says, "You don't get to interrupt me. You don't get to interrupt me." And as we've known, it's about 5 minutes or so. They only get so long to actually communicate and speak and get their word out. And these impeachment hearings have been extremely interesting, very interesting. So I'm going to listen in. You can follow along, and I'll make some commentary as we go. So I might stop the video. Here we go.
Back, Mr. Gaetz.
Well, the American people also elected Donald Trump to be the president of the United States in the 2016 election, and there's one party that can't seem to get over it. Now, we understand the fact that in 2018 you took the House of Representatives, and we haven't spent our time during your tenure in power trying to remove the Speaker of the House, trying to delegitimize your ability to govern. Frankly, we'd love to govern with you. We'd love to pass USMCA. We'd love to put out a helping hand to our seniors and lower prescription drug prices. It's the will of the people you ignore when you continue down this terrible road of impeachment. Professor Gerhardt, you gave money to...
Exactly. So, Donald Trump has been under impeachment, or impeachment. We talk about this over and over again since Donald Trump got elected. Like you said, we understand we didn't win enough in the midterms to keep people in the House. Nancy Pelosi became the Speaker again. But have we been sitting here going, we need to impeach Pelosi, we need to impeach Pelosi? No, we've been trying to move along and do the process, because the democratic process of this great republic is to vote for people. And next time, we'll get the right people in. We'll go right. We'll get people to go right, to elect the right people, to go right, to do right, to be right. And that's what we're going to do. We're not going to spend 2 to 4 years trying to impeach our president. Now, do they really want this to happen in the future? Do they want us, for the next president, God bless our souls if it ends up being a Democrat, do they want us to spend 2 to 4 years trying to take out that president? I mean, that's kind of messed up, right? We don't want that to happen. So let's go back to the video.
Barack Obama, right?
My family did, yes.
4 times?
That sounds about right. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I have a series of unanimous consent requests relating to Professor Feldman's work. The first, Noah Feldman, Trump's wiretap tweets raise risk of impeachment.
Gentlemen will suspend.
My time.
We'll take that time off.
You better give him his time.
Has the gentleman submitted, have we seen those, that material?
We can provide it to you, as is typical for
And we'll consider the unanimous consent request later after we review
Very well.
the material.
Very well. Thank you.
Gentlemen may continue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Feldman wrote articles entitled, "Trump's Wiretap Tweets Raise Risk of Impeachment." He then wrote, "Mar-a-Lago ad belongs in impeachment file." And then Mr. Jake Flanagan wrote in Quartz, "A Harvard law professor thinks Trump could be impeached over fake news accusations." My question, Professor Feldman, is, since you seem to believe that the basis for impeachment is even broader than the basis that my Democrat colleagues have laid forward, do you believe you're outside of the political mainstream on the question of impeachment?
I believe that impeachment is warranted whenever the president abuses his power for personal benefit or to corrupt the democratic process.
Did you write an article entitled, "It's Hard to Take Impeachment Seriously Now"?
Yes, I did write that
And in
article.
that article, did you write, hold on, I'm limited on time, sir.
2019, I wrote
Did you
that
write,
article.
since
You
the
like let me answer
2018
the question,
midterm
sir?
election, House Democrats have made it painfully clear that discussing impeachment is primarily or even exclusively a tool to weaken President Trump's chances in 2020. Did you write those words?
Until this call on July 25th, I was an impeachment skeptic. The
Very
call
well.
changed my mind, sir, and for
Thank
good
you. I
reason.
appreciate your testimony. Professor Carlin, you gave $2,000, or you gave $1,000 to Elizabeth Warren, right?
So, like we're saying,
I believe so.
You gave $1,200 bucks to Barack Obama,
I have no reason to question that.
and you gave $2,000 to Hillary Clinton.
these people donated a lot of money to the Democrats. But they're supposed to be this impartial witnesses. But they just spent a lot of money to the Democrats. They are bought and paid for. They are expert witnesses. Bought and paid for by the Democratic Party to try to impeach Trump. But the phone call, the horrible phone call that we got, that Donald Trump made. Yeah, whatever, folks. Nah. That phone call is BS. We're going to say this again. Donald Trump said, can you do us a favor? Us, the U.S. a favor. Biden committed a crime. Biden, as the vice president, said, we're going to withhold money. I said, we're going to withhold money from this country if they don't drop the case on my son Hunter. And by goddamn, they did it in 6 hours. And he gloated about it. Now, Donald Trump, as the president, as the executive branch, should be able to ask another country, can you investigate a crime that was committed? You're the new government. Now, if the Ukraine had asked us if somebody from the Ukraine here had committed a crime, I'm sure we would have followed suit as well. Meanwhile, we're worried about, the Democrats are griping about how the other countries are influencing our campaigns and help. I'm not a Russian bot. I voted for Donald Trump. No Russian paid me to do that. I don't know anybody who's been paid by the Russians to vote for Donald Trump. But when it comes down to it, a real crime got committed by Biden, and we talked about it. It's common sense, and everybody knows, but they keep bringing up this whole crap about some kind of thing Donald Trump had on a phone, and he was holding phones and funds, and we've already proven there's no crime committed. It's unprecedented that a president would be impeached over nothing, a nothing burger. They couldn't get him with Russiagate. They spent us all our time and money on that. And now they're trying to get Donald Trump for what? Nothing. Makes no sense. Makes absolutely no sense at all. Back to the video.
That's correct.
Why so much more for Hillary than the other two?
Because I've been giving a lot of money to charity recently because of all of the poor people.
Hillary's a charity.
Well, those aren't the only folks you've been given to. Now, have you ever been on a podcast called Versus Trump?
I think I was on a live panel that the people who ran the podcast called Versus Trump.
On that, do you remember saying the following? Liberals tend to cluster more. Conservatives, especially very conservative people, tend to spread out more, perhaps because they don't even want to be around themselves. Did you say that?
Well, that might actually be truthful. Liberals will cluster as much as possible, and will, even if they disagree with each other, they work together. Meanwhile, conservatives, I've always said this, break up into multiple groups. The groupers, the conservative incorporated, the gays for Trump, the Latinos, everybody's kind of in a different group. We're all on our identity, talk about identity politics, and we're all over the place. And maybe we don't like getting along with each other. This guy's got it, so.
Yes, I did.
Do you understand how that reflects contempt on people who are conservative?
No, what I was talking about there was the natural tendency, if you put the quote in context, the natural tendency of a compactness requirement to favor a party whose voters are more spread out.
Well,
and I do not
Professor,
have contempt
hold on.
for
I'm
conservatives.
very limited on time, Professor. And so I just have to say, when you talk about how liberals want to be around each other and cluster, and conservatives don't want to be around each other, so they have to spread out, it makes people, you may not see this from, like the ivory towers of your law school, but it makes actual people in this country
When
feel
the
like,
president
excuse
calls
me, you don't get to interrupt me on this time. Now, let me also suggest that
no,
when
you
you
didn't.
invoke the president's son's name here, when you try to make a little joke out of referencing Barron Trump, that does not lend credibility to your argument. It makes you look mean. It makes you look like you're attacking someone's family, the minor child of the president of the United States. So let's see if we can get the facts to all of the witnesses. If you have personal knowledge of a single material fact in the Schiff report, please raise your hand. And let the record reflect no personal knowledge of a single fact. And you know what? That continues on the tradition that we saw from Adam Schiff, where Ambassador Taylor could not identify an impeachable offense. Mr. Kent never met with the president. Fiona Hill never heard the president reference anything regarding military aid. Mr. Hale was unaware of any nefarious activity with aid. Colonel Vindman even rejected the Democrat talking point that bribery was invoked here. Ambassador Volker denied that there was a quid pro quo, and Mr. Morrison said there was nothing wrong on the call. The only direct evidence came from Gordon Sondland, who spoke to the President of the United States, and the President said, "I want nothing. No quid pro quo." And you know what? If wiretapping of political opponents an impeachable offense, I look forward to reading that Inspector General's report, because maybe it's a different president we should be impeaching.
Gentleman's time has expired.
Hell to the yes. Hell yes. Hell yes. You got it, man. You definitely got it, dude. You've got it right on. What they've got nothing. Nothing. Nothing is impeachable. No crime is committed. Nothing. You've got a bunch of nothing burgers, liberals who don't like, or whatever, people on the left who don't like the right, who are testifying against the president. Impeachment was not supposed to be about this. Impeachment is supposed to be about legitimate things. They are taking away from the legitimacy of the process. Period. They're taking away from the legitimacy of the process. It's just a wonder what they think that they can get away with, honestly. Well, moving along, folks, we've got to, said it before, GoRight. It's time to move the needle more to the right. Not too far, not extreme, but we got to get things going. We have to win in 2020. It's Peter Boykin from GoRight with Peter Boykin. Please share this. Peace. And join my Patreon. Patreon.com/Peter Boykin. Yes, people complain about Patreon, but you know what? Until Subscribestar picks me up, I've only got Patreon. So, subscribe. Patreon.com/Peter Boykin. Definitely need to take care of the bills. I'm not a grifter. We have bills to pay. We have to keep the lights on. God bless everybody. Talk to you soon.
As long as we have pride in our country, confidence in our future, and faith in our God, then America will prevail.